Beloved chosen one, stop and listen. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you to deliver this messageno, because you stumbled here by chance, but because you've been summoned. You are not ordinary, you are not forgotten, you are not overlooked. You are the one marked by light in a world that celebrates shadows. Before your mother held you, before your first breath cried out into the atmosphere, your name was whispered in heaven's courts. You were chosen, assigned and anointed for a purpose beyond your understanding. From the moment you arrived on this earth, hell took notice. There has been an invisible war surrounding your life, not because you're weak, but because you're powerful. Hell doesn't fight what doesn't threaten it. You chosen one are a threat. You carry a divine fingerprint that cannot be erased. You've walked into rooms and shifted atmospheres without saying a word. You've made the enemy nervous simply by surviving what was meant to destroy you. You are marked every rejection you've endured, every misunderstanding you've suffered, every time you felt out of place. It was not random, it was confirmation. The world didn't recognize you because heaven concealed your true identity. God marked you with something too heavy for common company. You were not meant to fit in, you were meant to stand out, even in silence. This is why you felt like an alien among the familiar. You carry a mantle not everyone is qualified to understand. Listen to me, you have been walking through this life with a fire in your bones and a crown in the spirit realm that the world has yet to see. That feeling you've had all your life, that you're meant for something more. It wasn't arrogance, it was awareness. It was your spirit remembering what your flesh forgot. The angels have already etched your assignment into the timeline of eternity. That is why you couldn't die in that accident. That is why you survived the heartbreak. That is why you're still here, because the marking on your life forbids premature endings. And I need you to understand this: God doesn't mark what He doesn't plan to use. You have been hidden, but not forgotten. You have been preserved, not overlooked. The oil on your life is evidence of a divine claim, and now the heavens are sounding the alarm. Time is not on your side anymore. The marking demands movement. The seal requires surrender. The calling is awakening. The enemy has tried everything to silence you, to exhaust your soul, to bury you in shame, to drown you in fear, but you are still standing. You are proof that divine assignment outranks demonic agenda. Every demon that tried to drag you under has failed. Every spirit of despair that tried to whisper, "Give up," has been silenced. Why? Because your name is written in flames on heaven's scrolls. Because your prayers have reached a frequency that hell cannot interfere with. Because you are a chosen one, and chosen ones don't die in the wilderness. They rise, as Isaiah proclaims in chapter 43 verse 2, "When you walk through fire, you will not be burned." That fire you've been walking through, it wasn't meant to consume you, it was meant to reveal what cannot be scorched. The anointing that abides in you. You are fireproof, not because you are strong, but because you are sealed. The angels have watched over you in every valley, through every tears-soaked pillow, in every moment of confusion and agony, and now they are waiting for your yes, your full surrender, your complete activation, because the time has come. You were not sent to earth to chase comfort. You were sent to bring confrontation, to dismantle lies, to carry truth, to walk in power. And the moment you accept this truth is the moment chains begin to break, not just off your life, but off your entire bloodline. You are not just marked for personal victory, you are marked for generational transformation. You are the one they've been waiting for, and whether they believe it or not, heaven does, the angels do, and deep down you know it too. So hear this: the time for passivity is over. The time for self-doubt is done. You are marked. Heaven has put its signature on your soul. You will not move forward another day pretending to be average. You are extraordinary. You are chosen. And if you're ready to step fully into the divine fire that's calling your name, then declare it with your whole being. Comment 777 below, as a prophetic act, as a divine signature, as a public declaration that you are ready. Ready to step into the fire, ready to wear your crown, ready to answer the call that marked you before birth. You've wondered why the isolation felt so deep, so cruel, why you were cut off not just from people, but from belonging itself. Let me tell you, chosen one, the separation was sacred. It wasn't rejection, it was protection. While others danced in the crowd, you were being hidden in the CLFT of the rock. You were being carved away from contamination, because what you carry could not afford compromise. There were nights you cried out, "Why me, Lord?" Not out of arrogance, but from the crushing weight of solitude. You were misunderstood in rooms where you spoke nothing wrong. You were looked at with suspicion. While others thrived in mediocrity, you felt unseen by men, but observed by something greater, because heaven never took its eyes off you. The isolation wasn't a punishment, it was preparation. You were not being punished, you were being purified. Every time you felt alone, God was doing surgery on your soul. Every time the phone didn't ring, every plan that fell through. It was divine orchestration, not neglect. You couldn't afford to be entangled with people who would dilute your destiny. You were not created to be common, and those marked by God are not allowed to move like the crowd. While they sought attention, you were called into alignment. Heaven silenced the noise around you so you could hear the sound within you, the voice of God calling you higher. That ache in your soul was never about needing people, it was about needing permission to rise, and that permission was never going to come from man, it had to come from above. You were always different, because you were always destined. Your loneliness was holy separation. It was heaven building a chamber inside you where no idol could rest, no counterfeit could fit. There is a mystery behind the silence you've endured. Some days you questioned if you had been forgotten, but now look back, see how you were being set apart. God wasn't ignoring you, He was investing in you. Your roots were growing deeper, your discernment was sharpening, your skin got tougher, but your heart stayed pure. That is the mark of one who has been in the secret place. Others were building platforms, God was building your altar. Others were rushing to be seen. He was waiting for you to be sealed. There is no anointing without isolation. Moses had to be pulled from the palace. David had to be pulled from the pasture. Jesus had to be pulled into the wilderness. So why would your process look different? You were chosen in the dark, before you were ever needed in the light. What you thought was rejection was really God saying, "You're too valuable to be wasted here." Every door that didn't open was God saying, "Not this one, I have better." Every friendship that dissolved wasn't random, it was surgical. Heaven only allows what builds you, what drains you. That had to go, and though your flesh hated the loneliness, your spirit grew bold in it. You began to see what others could not. You felt things others dismissed. You walked into spaces and discerned spirits that were never named. You began to move differently, talk differently, crave differently, not because you were better, but because you were being reformed. Heaven was molding a vessel that could hold glory. Do you understand the weight of that? The world celebrates connection, but the kingdom sanctifies consecration, and you chosen one were called to be set apart. You weren't meant to be swallowed by the crowd, you were designed to lead it out. There's a reason you never fit the mold. You weren't built to bend, you were forged to stand. And that is why the silence had to come first. God needed to ensure your foundation wasn't built on applause or approval. You were meant to thrive in obscurity first, so that when the light hits you, it won't blind you. That's what the silence did. It stripped away dependence on validation. It broke the addiction to attention. It taught you that being seen by God is enough. And now when people look at you and wonder how you carry such clarity, they don't know you earned it. In the shadows you bled, in places no one could see. You grew in environments where no one clapped. You obeyed when it cost you company, opportunities, and comfort. That is what set you apart. That is what consecrated you, and that is why the angels have marked you. Paul reminds us in Galatians 1 verse 15. But when God, who set me apart from my mother's womb and called me by His grace, was pleased. You've been set apart, not from this year or from the last crisis, from the womb, and every silent season, every quiet pine has been proof of that calling. You weren't overlooked, you were hidden, you weren't alone, you were protected, you weren't rejected, you were reserved, chosen one. There's a reason you've been fought so violently from your childhood to this very moment. Darkness has never been comfortable around you. You've walked into rooms and felt an immediate shift, people getting quiet, tension, rising eyes avoiding yours. That wasn't paranoia, that was your presence exposing things. Your light unsettles what hides in the shadows, even when you didn't know who you were. The enemy did. There's been a target on your back, not because you are weak, but because you are armed with a destiny, armed with discernment, armed with a kind of purity that cannot be faked. Hell doesn't war against what it doesn't fear, and beloved, you are feared. Some of the attacks you've endured weren't even about what you did, but about who you are. You've been persecuted without cause, misunderstood without reason, judged unfairly. Why? Because the Spirit in you confronts the Spirit in them. The anointing you carry doesn't play nice with darkness. It exposes, it agitates, it convicts. You've always known you were different, but you didn't realize just how much of a disruption your presence truly is. Even in silence, you provoke a transformation. There are people who can't stand you, and they don't even know why. They try to frame it with human words, but the truth is spirits recognize spirits, and the one in you is not passive. It is holy. God placed a fire in your spirit that terrifies the enemy. It's not just your prayer, it's your persistence. It's not just your worship, it's your warfare. You carry glory that reaches beyond words. Even your sighs shake the gates of hell. That's why the enemy tries to distract you, derail you, depress you, because he can't destroy you. You are covered, you are marked, and you are rising. You felt the warfare. Some days it came in waves: financial pressure, emotional torment, isolation so thick it felt like fog. But the enemy wasn't just attacking your life, he was targeting your identity. If he could get you to doubt who you are, he could delay what you're called to do. If he could get you to minimize your voice, he could muffle your authority. But not anymore. Your eyes are opening, your ears are tuning in, your spirit is aligning with the truth. You are not here to take up space, you are here to Command it. Your assignment is too urgent, your anointing too rare for you to keep shrinking. You were not born to blend, you were born to break cycles, to shift atmospheres, to rebuke demons, to bring heaven to earth. You're a walking contradiction to the plans of hell. That's why you've been through what you've been through, the rejection, the trauma, the confusion. It was all allowed, so that when you rose it would be undeniable that God did it. No one will be able to take the credit. Your life will be the evidence. Your scars will speak louder than sermons. Jesus told his disciples in Luke 10 verse 19, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. Did you hear that? Nothing will harm you, not permanently, not eternally. You have authority, and it's time to walk in it. You've hidden your power long enough. You've dimmed your light to make others comfortable, but the season of shrinking is over. You are a lion in the spirit, and the enemy knows it. Some of you have been waking up at strange hours, burdened for no reason. That's not anxiety, it's divine alertness. Your spirit is being summoned. There's a war in the unseen realm, and you're not just caught in it, you're called to fight in it, but not with fear, with authority, with praise, with purity, with fire. You were not given a timid spirit, you were given power. Your voice is needed. Your testimony is fire. Your story is a weapon. Your obedience is a battering ram against hell's gates. So stand up, shake the dust off, lift your head. You are not under attack, because you're cursed. You're under attack, because you're crowned. Even now angels are encamping around you. Even now God is preparing to show the world what he's been hiding in you. Even now the enemy is panicking, because a marked one has remembered who they are, and there is nothing more dangerous to darkness than a chosen one who has awakened. This is not the time to doubt yourself. This is not the time to play small. Your presence is not a mistake. Your existence is not random. You were sent, you were marked, you were loosed into the earth for such a time as this, and no power of darkness can reverse what God has spoken over you. Write this in the comment, I know now. Mark it as a prophetic declaration. You've just stepped over the threshold of awareness. You've been called strange, too intenser, overly sensitive. They said you feel too much, too deeply, dream too wildly. But what they called flaws, God calls features. You weren't made to be numb. You were crafted with a sensitivity that's not a defect, but a divine tool, chosen one. What they mocked in you is what God intends to use. You've always sensed things before they happened. You've walked into rooms and felt invisible tension. You've cried without knowing why. That wasn't weakness, that was your spirit tuning into higher frequencies. You are not crazy, you are called, and that sensitivity, spiritual equipment. This world teaches us to disconnect, to suppress, to deny, to harden, but you were wired to perceive, to interchange, to discern what others miss. The pain you carry isn't just yours. Often it's the burden of others that God allows you to feel, so that you'll stand in the gap. You were made to weep, not in despair, but in intercession. You were built to feel deeply, because you were designed to carry heaven's heart. When you were younger, no one explain this, so you thought you were broken, but you weren't broken. You were breaking open. God was awakening your gift before your mind could make sense of it, and while others hardened with time, you remained open. That openness has cost you, hasn't it? You've been betrayed, used, overlooked, but still you love, still you feel, still you show up, and that is power. The world applauds those who shut down, but heaven crowns those who stay soft. In a brutal world you are dangerous to darkness, not because you yell the loudest, but because your purity disarms evil, because your love is authentic, because your heart still beats with compassion in a generation going numb. That's not weakness, that's war. You hear what others miss, you see beneath the surface, and sometimes that makes life heavier. But remember, God would not give such sight to someone he did not trust. You were chosen to see not just the visible, but the invisible. You were chosen to pick up signals from the Spirit when others only react to the natural. That's why you can't explain everything you feel, because it wasn't meant for words, it was meant for prayer. The dreams you've had, the emotions that surged out of nowhere, the way you suddenly knew something without being told. It's not random, it's your anointing. And for too long the enemy has tried to twist it. He's made you question yourself, made you feel unstable, made you doubt your mind. But no more. You are not fragile, you are prophetic. You are not broken, you are burdened for nations, for families, for futures, and that burden is holy. It's what makes you run to God when others run to distraction. It's what keeps your spirit awake while others sleepwalk through life. You are alive to the Spirit. That is a rare gift. Protect it. Your calling isn't about performance, it's about presence, about being fully tuned into what heaven is saying. Your tears are often prayers, your sighs are often praise. Your stillness sometimes is louder than shouting. You carry the frequency of the secret place, and that makes you a threat to every lie, every mask, every counterfeit. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14, Paul writes, "The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolish, but the person with the Spirit makes judgments about all things." And this explains why people don't get you, why they rolled their eyes when you shared what God showed you, why you've often felt like you were speaking another language, you were a heavenly one, and not everyone has ears to hear it. But keep speaking, keep perceiving, keep responding to what heaven is saying, because you are not here to be understood, you are here to obey. Chosen one, your sensitivity is sacred. Guard it, cultivate it, don't allow this cold world to harden what God made tender. You are an intercessor in a generation of influencers, you are a watchtower in a city of sleepers, and what flows through you, if surrendered fully, can change the atmosphere around you. It's time to stop apologizing for your gift, it's time to stop questioning your own spirit. You know what you know, because heaven speaks, you feel what you feel, because heaven trusts you, you carry what you carry, because heaven marked you, and the days of shrinking back are over. You are chosen, and you are awake. God's chosen one. Do not be deceived, heaven has seen it all. Every silent cry, every battle you fought alone, every tear you wiped in the dark, nothing was wasted, nothing went unnoticed. There were moments you thought no one saw you, but angels were taking record. Every sigh was sacred, every breath you pushed through in pain became incense rising before the throne. The enemy tried to make you believe your pain was pointless. Says that all the losses, all the heartbreaks, all the betrayals were just chaos, but the truth is they were strategy. Heaven was allowing pressure not to crush you, but to carve you. You were being shaped in the shadows. What felt like abandonment was actually heaven drawing closer than ever. You are not forgotten, you are marked. God has watched you say yes. When it hurt, He has watched you obey. When it cost you everything, He's seen you forgive what was unforgivable. He's seen you sow when you had nothing left, and now He is calling it forth. Heaven is sending word, there will be reward. You are not at the end of your rope, you are at the edge of a revealing of who you really are, of what you really carry. You've questioned if any of it mattered. Let me speak plainly, it did, it does, and it will. Every act of obedience, every hidden act of righteousness, every time you kept quiet when you could have cursed, heaven documented it. You are about to step into a season where those secret seeds will bloom publicly. You are not buried, you are planted, and harvest is near. Do not grow weary, don't lose heart, don't let the silence fool you into believing heaven is silent. God has been orchestrating things in the unseen. Assignments have been released, angels have been dispatched, and you chosen Onia being summoned to step into the very thing you were born for. Isaiah chapter Lima declares, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. The weapons were real, the pain was real, but the promise is louder. You weren't promised a life without battles, you were promised victory in every one of them, and this next victory will be one you don't have to fight alone. Heaven is standing with you. There are moments in life when the atmosphere shifts, when the heavens open and clarity begins to flood your spirit. This is one of those moments. You are not reading these words by accident. This is divine alignment. Something in your life is being rearranged, elevated, anointed. You're about to understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it did, and as you begin to step forward, remember you're not walking alone. There is a remnant, there are others like you, marked, misunderstood, mighty in spirit. You may not have met them yet, but they are out there. This community is one of those gathering places, a space where chosen ones find confirmation, courage, and clarity. So if these words are stirring your spirit, if you feel that familiar fire rising in your bone, stay connected, don't wander alone. Subscribe to stay in tune with every divine download released here. Share this word with another chosen one who's on the verge of giving up, and if you feel led to pour back into this ministry to help these messages keep flowing, to make sure others can be reached, consider sowing a seed, not out of pressure, but out of recognition. When something feeds your soul, it's good to honor it, but whether you give or not, whether you comment or not, know this: you are seen, and heaven is not blind to your sacrifice. You have stayed the course. When others fell away, you have stood. When everything in you screamed to bow, and because of that a shift is coming, not in the far-off future. Now, even as you read this, something is unlocking. Your name is being whispered in rooms of favor. Angels are circling your situation. Strategies are being formed in the spirit to catapult you into divine positioning, but it requires your yes, not your partial obedience, not your conditional surrender. Your full, fearless yes, the one that breaks chains, the one that opens heavens. This is not the time to hold back. This is the time to anchor deep, to dig your feet into the promises of God and declare, I will not move. You've done too much warfare to give up now. You've cried too many tears to throw away your inheritance. You've come too far. The glory ahead is worth the pain behind. The reward waiting is heavier than the loss endured, and the testimony forming in your life will be one that shakes others into their purpose. You are the living proof that God still marks, still moves, still delivers. So breathe in, chosen one. Steady your soul. What's coming cannot be stopped. What's Forming cannot be delayed, and what's written over your life will come to pass. Chosen one, something is shifting, and it's not just around you, it's within you. You felt it, the strange stirring in your spirit, the urgency rising in your chest, the restlessness you can't quite explain. That is not anxiety, that is awakening, that is heaven sounding the alarm inside your soul. There is a countdown in the spirit, a Dana clock ticking, and you marked Anna standing at a precipice. The days of delay are over, the time of postponing is done. You cannot afford to keep putting off your surrender. You cannot afford to ignore the tug on your soul. This is your prophetic alarm, and it will not sound forever. You've been preserved for purpose, you've been spared for significance, and now that purpose is calling louder than ever, heaven is requiring movement, the window is narrowing, and the moment is holy. You must choose, continue to drift, or step into divine alignment. There is no middle ground left. Lukewarm has expired, delay has become danger. Every time you silenced your spirit's cry with distraction, the countdown pressed on. Every time you said later, grace extended. But grace does not extend endlessly. There comes a time when mercy steps back and silence takes its place. God has been patient with you, but now He is requiring your yes, not just your belief, your obedience. You are standing between two realms, zone of potential, the other of purpose. One promises comfort, the other demands courage, and only one leads to destiny. You already know which one calls to you. It's the one that keeps waking you up in the night, the one that burns in your chest when you try to pretend you're fine, the one that won't leave you alone. This is your moment to step into it, to cross over, to say, yes, Lord, I will go, I will become. Because your delay is costing more than time, it's costing souls. The people connected to your calling are waiting. Your obedience will be their breakthrough. Your yes is not just about you, it's about generations. You carry too much to keep sitting still. You've seen too much to pretend blindness. You've survived too much to go back. Now heaven has invested in you. Angels have waited for you. The Spirit has whispered to you.